At first, a relationship with a female covert narcissist might feel like a dream come true. She's charming, attentive, she knows exactly how to make you feel special, like you're the most important person in her entire world. Her compliments will seem genuine, her affection will make you believe that she truly cares about you like no one ever has. Everything seems so real and natural, and it's like you're perfectly in sync. You share the same interests, the same values, the same vision for the future, and it's all so convincing that you might start to believe you found your soulmate. And you may fall for her harder than you ever thought possible. But then, slowly, the mask starts to slip, and as the perfect illusion starts to crack and crumble, instead of seeing it for what it is, an illusion, you may find yourself chasing it even harder, as though your happiness and maybe even your life depends on it. I'm Lise Leblanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and I work with men from all around the world who've found themselves hopelessly trapped in a covert narcissist's web of manipulation and mind games. And today I'm going to explain exactly how this happens to intelligent, good men. And my hope is that this can help you avoid this devastating experience. And if you're already in it, maybe it will help you break free. Okay, so in the beginning of the relationship, a female covert narcissist will seem super sweet, caring, and very, very vulnerable. She's looking for someone to help her, to take care of her, to be her hero. And she activates your protector instincts almost right off the bat, often by creating some big crisis that makes you feel needed, like you're the only person who truly understands her and can help. And at first, she's ultra grateful for your heroic efforts. There's this we against the world mentality. There's always a common enemy to fight. But soon you might start to realize that there's always a crisis, always someone new or something else that she feels threatened by. And no matter how many enemies you defeat or how many problems you solve, there's always 10 more waiting in the wings. And that's because she is not actually seeking solutions. She is seeking people and problems that will help her maintain her victim role. So the crises are endless. She's not interested in resolving them. She's simply looking for a constant stream of attention, validation, and people to blame for her problems, and someone to reinforce that she's always the vulnerable, misunderstood victim. Once she senses that you're fully invested in both her and your role as her rescuer, everything starts to shift. The affection and gratitude fade away, replaced by a sense of entitlement. You're no longer a hero, you are just expected to meet her needs, no questions asked, and any boundaries you set is seen as betrayal. You're now walking this tightrope, and any false move, whether it's taking time for yourself, giving any attention to someone else, even if that's your own kids, or questioning her victim narrative or her abusive behavior, will trigger a storm of accusations, emotional withdrawal, silent treatments, passive-aggressive behavior, or threats to end the relationship. She will constantly put you in loyalty binds where you're forced to pick sides between her and whoever she's decided is the new enemy. And at any given moment, this could be you. She can turn on you and start blaming you at the drop of a hat. It's like a switch flips and suddenly she's going off the rails, seeing you as the bad guy. She is selfish, self-centered, always complaining about how misunderstood she is and making everything about her. It's all about her struggles, her needs, her feelings, her pain, and her problems. And it doesn't matter if you're on your deathbed or dealing with a serious and real problem. Anything that takes attention away from her being the victim is seen as a threat. In her eyes, the whole universe revolves around her. Her problems are always the biggest, her struggles are always the most urgent, and when you dare to focus on your own life or to express your own needs or concerns, she'll either guilt trip you into feeling like you've failed her, or worse, she'll accuse you of causing all of her problems. The more you try to assert yourself or defend yourself, the more you're met with manipulation and emotional withdrawal, as if the entire relationship is designed to serve one purpose, and that is for you to be her servant and emotional punching bag. Everything on your part then becomes a desperate attempt to avoid triggering her wrath, and so you're constantly walking on eggshells, trying to keep the peace and avoid being abandoned. And in those rare moments when you do think that things are calm and you feel a glimpse of hope or connection, it's quickly replaced with another emotional outburst, a tantrum, making it impossible to ever relax or feel secure. Because there's always another crisis, another enemy, another round of emotional manipulation and brainwashing waiting around the corner. So once the illusion crumbles and the mask drops, you will be trapped in a never-ending cycle of manipulation, guilt, and emotional chaos. Now, how fast the mask comes off really depends on several factors, and that can include the severity of her narcissism and whether there are any antisocial traits, addictions, or other co-occurring disorders. And in this case, the mask can fly off very fast. In cases where the mask drops slowly, what you'll typically see is a relatively subtle process where her compliments slowly turn to criticism and passive-aggressive behavior, emotional withdrawal, silent treatments, no interest in sex or meeting any of your other needs. She'll start accusing you of being selfish, of not prioritizing her. She'll blame you for not taking her side, for things that aren't even your fault or have nothing to do with you. She'll poke at your insecurities, using them to shame you, using anything you're sensitive about to make you feel small and unworthy. She knows exactly how to push your buttons, and she will not hesitate to use your fear of abandonment or your deepest vulnerabilities against you to create a sense of guilt, obligation, loyalty, and fear of abandonment, of rejection, and this all to manipulate and control you while she maintains the facade of being the victim. Once in a while, she might go back to being affectionate because she wants something or needs something, and you might feel relieved as though you've won her back. But the cycle will continue to repeat itself, leaving you in a constant state of anxiety, confusion, and self-doubt. So in times when the mask comes off abruptly, usually it just flies off. And in this case, it's a sudden and dramatic shift in her personality, where one minute she's all sweetness and charm, and the next she's cold, distant, and completely hostile. It's like a switch flips. You might see her lash out unexpectedly over something minor. She might even end the relationship abruptly, blaming you for it, and you'll be left standing there, caught off guard, totally blindsided. And this emotional volatility is a tactic, either because she's discarding you and making you think you're to blame, or it's just a way to regain control and reassert her power over you. If you try to set boundaries or refuse to take the blame for whatever she's upset about, she will escalate the drama, painting you as a supervillain. She'll twist the narrative, making you look like the bad guy to anyone who will listen, and that can be friends, family, coworkers, even strangers. So in these moments, you're faced with a painful choice. Either give in to her demands, apologize, and try to fix things. You need to grovel, or stand your ground and risk losing the relationship. If you assert yourself, she may discard you or retaliate with even more manipulation, guilt tripping, or emotional withdrawal. And on the other hand, if you apologize and try to appease her, you're basically giving her permission to disrespect you and abuse you, reinforcing her belief that you're the villain and she's the victim, and you deserve to be treated this way. The dynamic will only get more and more toxic as time goes on and as her disdain, disgust, and disrespect for you intensifies. Obviously, this all starts to chip away at your self-worth, and you'll feel like you can't do anything right because even the way you breathe, eat, and talk are annoying to her. As time goes on, she'll become like an ice box, and any effort to connect with her will be met with cold indifference and rejection, making you wonder if she hates you. If she's still keeping you around at this point, it's for financial reasons, status, or control. Think of yourself as an accessory in her life. You're simply a means to an end. And make no mistake, this is not love. It's a transactional relationship, and you may be discarded the minute you no longer serve her needs or when she finds someone else to take your place. And obviously, she will do this in a way that makes you feel like you're the one who failed, you're the one who's to blame, because she is always, always the victim in any scenario. And unfortunately, like a little puppy waiting for its owner's approval, you may find yourself groveling, trying even harder to please her, to get her approval, desperately holding on to any tiny scrap of affection or validation she throws your way, just to feel like you matter, just to experience that fleeting moment of emotional relief. So this cycle of seeking her approval followed by her rejections becomes a part of the trauma bond, and the pain she causes you only deepens your attachment and your loyalty to her as your brain starts to associate her approval with your emotional survival. And so the more she pulls away, the more you crave her validation, the more she ignores and rejects you, the more you feel like you need to prove your worth to her. But here's the cruel irony. The more you chase, the safer she feels and the less invested she becomes. And with every cycle, you get pulled deeper and deeper into her suffocating web of manipulation and control until you're so entangled that even the thought of leaving her feels impossible. You've become emotionally addicted to the highs of her approval, no matter how fleeting, and paralyzed by the lows of her rejection. It's like you're constantly chasing a carrot on a stick, never quite reaching it, but somehow always believing that if you just try a little harder, you might finally get the love and validation that you are so desperately craving. The trauma bond is so strong that even when you see the manipulation clearly, the fear of abandonment, the anxiety of being left with nothing, because that's what she's made you believe, will keep you stuck. The more you give, the more she takes, and the deeper you fall into her web of manipulation and control until it feels like you're losing yourself piece by piece just to hold on to the relationship that was never really about love in the first place. So if you're feeling caught in a toxic web right now, remember that it's never too late to take control of your life again. When you're ready to reclaim your power, please consider reaching out to a therapist in your area who specializes in narcissistic abuse, and consider my online recovery programs that I linked in the description section of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And to learn more about how to recognize the toxic tactics of a female covert narcissist, please click on the link above.